Hi, this is the second episode of our Financial Literacy 101 series, and today we will talk about debt. This is an important topic as most of us have debt, but it is also one of the least understood aspects of financial literacy. Today, we will dive deeply into debt. We will explore just exactly what is it and how we can manage it. Debt is an amount of money borrowed by one party from another, and it is used primarily to make large purchases that you cannot afford in the present. This makes debt useful as a financial tool, but it can get complicated real quick if you don't know how to handle it. Think of it this way: when you have debt, you are essentially borrowing from your future selves, meaning that you can spend more right now, but you need to make up for it in the future. So, the most important thing to remember when using debt is just to be extra careful and be responsible with it, especially credit card debt, as it is the easiest to overspend. This is the simplest but often overlooked advice when managing debt. Be disciplined. There are lots of types of debts, but the most common types of debts we use are mortgages, car loans, student loans, and credit cards. Four of them make up for most of debts around the world, and maybe medical bills too in the US. This is because things such as real estate and education are really expensive, and most people just can't afford them without taking on debt. As I explained before, this is why debt is useful and also why most of us have them. Now, we know that debt is not always bad and it can be a good thing if managed properly. But how can you manage them? One useful calculation is the debt to income ratio, or DTI. You can calculate it by dividing the total of debt payments per month by your income per month. For example, if you make $5,000 per month and you pay your debts at $1,000 per month, then your DTI ratio will be at 20%. And the lower it is, the better your chances at paying them. This ratio is used by lenders, including mortgage lenders, in order to evaluate whether you are worthy of getting a loan. According to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, a DTI of 43% is typically the highest ratio a borrower can have and still get qualified for a mortgage. But lenders generally seek ratios of no more than 36%. I personally recommend a DTI of 30% to be the max amount you can have, as more than that will make it hard for you to finance your daily necessities. Another thing to look for is your credit score. A credit score tells lenders about your credit worthiness. A credit score plays a key role in lenders' decision to offer credit, and the most commonly used credit score model is known as FICO. It is a number between 300 and 850, and the higher the score, the better your chances to get approved for lower interest loans. This is why having a high credit score is crucial. A credit score is one metric that can probably save you a lot of money in your lifetime if you manage your debt well. There are several factors for credit score calculations, with payment history as the most important factor. And while there are many tips for you to get a high credit score, the most important tip is to always pay your bills on time. If you do this, then it is way easier to get a high credit score. We hear a lot of stories where people just have too much debt and continuously falling into a debt spiral. Most often, it begins with simple mismanagement of credit cards. You begin to miss payments, and the number of late payment fees you have increased. You borrow more money in order to get out of debt, but then you aren't able to pay off the money you borrowed. So you borrow again, and the whole thing snowballs as the interest rates get higher and higher, and you get stuck with lots of debts. And at first, it can be hard for you to notice it as it happens over time. So, if you're a teenager, it is important to take notice of your debts and be responsible with your money. But if you're already falling deep into a debt spiral, it can be very stressful and it won't be easy to break out of it. So, the next video will be about how to get out of debt spiral. And with that said, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you for watching and see you next time.